Information I wanted to share with everyone. So everybody's talking about Adam and Eve and the beginning. There's some of the Christian schools now have said they're not even going to teach Genesis anymore because that's only a myth. I don't understand that at all. To me, it's not a myth, okay? It's the story of creation, how God created the world and man and woman. So if we go into Genesis, it talks about Adam was created by God, and then God decided he needed a helpmate, okay? And the word actually was not helpmate. That's an incorrect translation. If you remember, I think it was a short on mistranslations. You got to be careful about mistranslations in the Bible. So, helpmate is actually an incorrect mistranslation. Okay? The word actually is Ezer Kenigdo. Okay? Ezer Kenigdo. Now, what does that mean? Okay? What is an Ezer? E-Z-E-R. Ezer. Now, an Ezer is described as a partner. And a counterpart. So you have a man, you have a woman, so that's your counterpart. Okay? It never says she was meant to be subservient to man, and we'll get into that in just a little bit, but it means strength or powerful counterpart. Okay? Kenigdo means strength or powerful counterpart. You got a husband, you got a wife, they're both equals, but she is facing him, beside him, not behind him, not in front of him, beside him, okay? An equal partner. She's the strength or powerful counterpart, okay? So that's what actually is a translation, Ezer Kenigdo, okay? Now, the other mistranslation in Genesis is rib. He said he took Adam's rib to make Eve. Well, that's also a mistranslation, all right? Let me read you what it says here. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he, meaning God, took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken, he made woman and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Again, a mistranslation. Okay? Now, Adam said, She is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. If he'd only taken up a rib, then why would he say flesh of my flesh? Okay? So that's the question, right? Because he didn't take a rib. Now we got to get into what's the mistranslation, okay? The word that was original, Aramaic, was Sela, or Selah, if you prefer. But that does not mean rib, okay? That means side. If you look at the word Selah, it's in 40 times in the Old Testament, okay? But the only time it's translated as rib is the one time where God took out a rib. So it's not right. The translation of Selah means side. Now, if you look at Exodus 25:12, we're talking about the Ark of the Covenant. Okay? There are no ribs in the Ark of the Covenant, I'm pretty sure. All right? But in 25:12, it says, "And thou shalt cast 4 rings of gold for it," the Ark of the Covenant, "and put them in the 4 corners thereof, and 2 rings shall be on the one side of it, and 2 rings on the other side." So here you see the word translated properly. Okay? It's not translated as rib, it's translated as side. Okay? So then you go to the 1 Kings 6:5. Okay? 1 Kings 6:5 says, "And against the wall of the house he built chambers round about." Okay? So every time you want to talk about Selah, it means side or rooms or chambers. Okay? So that's exactly what it was translated as here. Side. Okay? Built chambers, Selah, around about against the walls of the house, about both of the temples and of the oracle, and he made chambers round about. So there is translated Selah as chambers or rooms, okay? So if you dig a little deeper, you go into Daniel, if you start talking about ribs, okay, the word for rib is actually Elah in Aramaic. That means rib bone, okay? Let's go look at Daniel 7:5, and it says, Daniel's talking about the beasts in his vision. He said, "And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth." So you got raised itself on one side, Selah, and it had 3 ribs in his mouth, Elah. So you got Selah and Elah, both translated properly, okay, in the same sentence. So why the disparity? There's several reasons. I'm not sure which one is real or why not. Maybe it was a simple mistranslation. I'm not going to say that it wasn't or wasn't. I don't know, but it was incorrect translation for sure.